Welcome back to Moving to Hampton Roads. My name is David Tortellini, and today I am very excited to share with you one of my favorite neighborhoods in all of Williamsburg, Queens Lake. This is a phenomenal neighborhood with a huge variety of size of homes, style, price range, waterfront, not waterfront. It really has it all. This is a wonderful neighborhood. I know you're going to love it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to hop on the map and I'm going to show you where Queens Lake is in relation to the rest of Williamsburg, show you what's going on in that area, why it is a phenomenal place to live. And then we're going to get in the car and we're going to drive around. I'm going to tour you through the whole neighborhood, tell you everything you need to know about living in Queens Lake. But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. And then don't forget that I am here to help you out with your move to Williamsburg or the surrounding area. So you can give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email anytime. All right, let's get to it. Alrighty, we're going to start on the map and we're going to zoom right in on Williamsburg, which encompasses James City County, City of Williamsburg, and where we're going to spend our day today, Upper York County. So this space right here, this is the Naval Weapons Station, and this is Upper York County, which is where Queens Lake is located. So just to give you a little reference, we have Colonial Williamsburg right here and William and Mary campus here. So if you've ever been to visit, I'm sure this is where you spent some time. And we're really just going right down the street over to Queens Lake. So very close to the Colonial Williamsburg Center. It's maybe only about a 7-minute drive. And then this whole neighborhood right here is Queens Lake. And obviously gets its name here from the lake, and then Queens Creek that wraps around it and leads out to the York River. So there's a lot to talk about and why we love Queens Creek, and I'm sure you can see right next door is New Quarter Park. So if you love the outdoors, then you're going to really love being in this area, because New Quarter Park is probably the most underrated park in Hampton Roads. This is a phenomenal park that doesn't get spoken about nearly enough by the people that don't live in this immediate area. Not enough people travel to come to this park. It is 545 acres. It has a full 18-hole disc golf course. You can go hiking and mountain biking here. There's miles and miles of trails. You can launch kayaks here, and there are playgrounds. I mean, there's just so much more, and it's just a beautiful drive in off of, you come out of your neighborhood here. If you live in Queens Lake, you take a left and you drive straight in. It is fantastic. It's right around the corner. Beautiful, beautiful park. Really makes you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. So one of the better, more underrated parks in the area. And then you can come out here and just 2 minutes down the street, you're going to get some of the best dining in all of Williamsburg. And now this is an area that's going to be seeing, I think the county really wants to put a lot of money into this area right now. So it might not look like the fanciest section when you come to visit this area, but I think that over the next 10 or 20 years, this is going to see a lot of revitalization, and the quality of the restaurants and businesses that are coming to this location are amazing. So things like Second Street Bistro, which is just an absolute staple of Williamsburg. There's one in Newport News as well. Cochon on Second, which is probably the highest end restaurant in all of Williamsburg. Just one of the best date night, fancy dinner, great drink locations you'll find. You got a couple of Mexican restaurants, fantastic brewery, one of the best breweries. They're expanding to York County, to Southern York County, so that's exciting for them. New Spot Burgers on the Edge, that is owned by Bald Guy's Pies, which are phenomenal pizza place, food truck. But then you have places like Shorty's Diner, which is another staple of Upper York County, Williamsburg. Column 15, probably my favorite cafe in the entire region. And then even just more things like Casa Pearl is another great restaurant. You've got Emily's Donuts, a phenomenal donut shop here, Shoe Fly Dairy Bar, so you go get some ice cream. So I could keep going. So there's just a lot in this area. So I think people kind of underestimate how much there really is right in this area. And then again, from there, you're 2 minutes into Colonial Williamsburg. So you really can't ask for much of a better location for food and fun. Speaking of fun, Water Country USA is right here. So again, there's our neighborhood up here, and you've got Water Country USA, a premier water park, one of the best on the East Coast right here, and Busch Gardens, which is just a phenomenal amusement park. It was named for the 35th year in a row, I think, the most beautiful amusement park in the United States. And if you have kids, the annual passes are an absolute must. You're gonna you'll make your money back 10 times over if you have kids in this area, because that's where everybody in the neighborhoods takes their kids after school and all through the summer and all that. So really phenomenal location, unbelievable to have access to those sorts of things within 5-10 minutes of your house. And then of course it's easy to jump on 64 from here. So you can hop on 64 if you are working, say, down at Fort Eustis in Newport News. Langley Air Force Base is down here, or even the Newport News Shipyard. You can really get to these parts of the peninsula really easily from Queens Lake, because you really are right by the highway, as opposed to kind of like I live right over here. You can see the little house, and it does take me a little while to get back to the highway. It takes me probably 20 minutes to get to the highway, but from here you can be on the highway in less than 5 minutes. So really great location, phenomenal neighborhood. I'm excited to drive through it. We'll take a look on the satellite real quick so you can get a better overhead picture. But one of the great things about having Queens Creek and Queens Lake right here is if you are looking for waterfront, which Williamsburg doesn't have a ton of, this is one of those opportunities. You can get a nice sized boat in here. Queens Creek is pretty deep, and it takes you, of course, out to the York River. If you don't have a waterfront home, there is a marina here, and there are going to be a bunch of amenities like the pools and playgrounds and tennis courts. So we're going to see all of that when we get out into the car and we drive around, and we'll show you what this looks like from the ground. So I'm very excited to get in the car. We're going to do that. Let's start driving around, and we'll tell you everything you need to know about living in Queens Lake. Now we're in the car headed towards Queens Lake, and just the drive-in is beautiful, being in this wooded setting here going into the neighborhood. This isn't all that common in the area, so not even in Queens Lake yet, and I already love it. So we're going to head into the neighborhood where you're going to find one of the most diverse neighborhoods in the Williamsburg area, because this neighborhood, they started building it in 1950, and they're still building now. There's still about 25 vacant lots in this neighborhood. So when it's eventually done, it'll be 575 homes, possibly. So you are going to see just a variety of age of homes, style, and size. So there aren't a lot of neighborhoods that can say they have kind of what Queens Lake has in terms of this sort of diversity. Because you're going to find homes here that might be as small as about 1,600 square feet, all the way up to almost 10,000 square feet, and just about every size in between. So really kind of crazy how much variance there is in this community. And then you're also going to have home sales here in the past year or so from about $350,000 for a smaller home that's a big-time fixer-upper, up to about $1.5 million for luxury waterfront. So you really are going to run the gamut in terms of size, price range, and style. Now, in regards to style, this is still Williamsburg, so it's still going to be a lot of colonial style homes and ranchers and traditional homes, but relative to some of the other neighborhoods where you're going to find maybe one or two styles on repeat, this is really going to give you a lot of options to be here. Now, of course, one of the things you're seeing is just how wooded the neighborhood is. And that's one of the things that people really like, are these wooded lots. This is a great neighborhood for people who want some privacy, because not only are you going to have your traditional, like in our area, a normal lot might be about a 1/3 acre to a 1/2 acre. And there are lots of those in Queens Lake, but you're also going to get a whole lot of lots that are about an acre to 2 acres, and some are even bigger than that. There are some lots that are 5 or 6 acres, so you're going to find a few mega lots, but there are a lot that are in that 1 to 2 acre range as well, and that's really hard to find in the Williamsburg area until you break up into these kind of luxury neighborhood price points where you're looking at over $1 million for 3 to 5 acres. So here you can get the 1 acre with a wooded lot, get that nice privacy that you're looking for. So really, really neat neighborhood in terms of the diversity, the lot sizes, very different here than in much of Williamsburg. So really stands out that way. Now, one of the big things to talk about with this neighborhood is the HOA. So when this community was first built, the HOA was going to be optional. And they said, hey, listen, if you want to join it, great. If you don't want to join it, that's fine too. Then in the early 70s, homeowners started making the HOA a membership, a part of the deed of the home. So many of the homes that are in the neighborhood, it's deeded that you have to join the HOA. Now, the HOA isn't particularly expensive. It's $575 per year just to be a member. So anybody who has a deeded property that has to join the HOA, it's $575 a year. You can also be what's called a traditional HOA member, where you have to pay a $3,000 upfront fee. Essentially you're buying shares into the neighborhood for that kind of down payment, and then you're going to pay the $575 a year on top of that. In addition, if anyone wants to use the amenities, you have to pay on top of that as well. So if you want to have a pool membership, like a family pool membership right now is $433 a year if you're a member of the HOA and a resident of Queens Lake. And then if you want to do the tennis and pickleball courts, that's an additional fee on top of that. Or if you want to use the marina, there are additional fees on top of that. So you pay for what you use and what you want to be a part of. And I think that's kind of the big thing here, is that a lot of people who are not deeded don't have to join the HOA. But if you do, you have your annual fee plus the fees for whatever particular things you want to use. So if you don't want to use the pool, you don't have to pay for the pool, but if you want to use tennis courts, you have to pay for the tennis court membership. So it's a little confusing. It's much different than a lot of the other neighborhoods. Maybe one of the big neighborhoods like Kingsmill, where you can join the Racket Club Association, would be your next best kind of comparable neighborhood in terms of that, but that's a big kind of resort type neighborhood. Now, all that being said, still about 80% of the homeowners in Queens Lake are members of the HOA. So that is a very high percentage. In neighborhoods where there's any optionality, it's usually closer to about 50 to 60%. So to be up around 80% is really, really neat. Now, the amenities that they do have are really nice. We showed the aerial. They have 2 pools. They have the playground. They have tennis and pickleball courts. And for me, the marina is gorgeous. It's not big. So, it's not 100 slips or anything like that, but it's just so beautiful. Queens Creek is absolutely gorgeous. Having the ability to go down there, get access to your boat within your neighborhood, and be out on Queens Creek and out into the York River in just a few minutes is the coolest. So if you are a boater, this neighborhood should be among your tops because Williamsburg doesn't have that many marinas. And to be able to get into a neighborhood that has its own marina and not have to be in one of the huge high-end sort of overriding HOAs is really neat. Now, one of the things that's really great about the HOA is that there are no restrictive covenants in terms of what you can do. So they're not going to tell you what kind of house you can build or what color you can paint your shutters or whether you can have a garden in the backyard. There's none of that here. So this really makes it like the best of both worlds, to be able to have the amenities and be able to pay into all of those and not have somebody tell you what you can do with your land. And there's a lot of people that do not want to be told what they can do with their property. So this is a great neighborhood if that is the case for you. So you, of course, have to still follow the York County rules and regulations. So if York County says you can't do something, you can't do it. But if you want to put a flagpole in the middle of your yard, put a flagpole in the middle of your yard, because this is not a neighborhood that's going to tell you that you can't do those sorts of things. So overall, Queens Lake is certainly one of the most desirable neighborhoods in the Williamsburg area. It's a neighborhood that everyone who lives around here knows about, has friends in. A lot of people really just clamoring to get into this neighborhood. And because it's so big, because it is 550 homes, you do see a decent number of sales every year. So the opportunity to get into this neighborhood is, there's a lot of it, because it is a big neighborhood and people come and go, but there's a lot of opportunity to get into a great home here. A lot of the homes are a little bit older now. The majority of them were built before 1990. So it's not like you're going to be moving into new construction in this neighborhood. So don't expect too much of that. But if you're okay with a little bit of an older home, just to get into a special neighborhood, have access to all these things, be in a place where you can have the amenities of the HOA, but not have to have the restrictions of a lot of homeowner associations that you hear about around the country. This is a great neighborhood for you. You get the big lots, wooded, private lots, a lot of different sizes and styles, very classic, beautiful neighborhood here in Williamsburg. And I think that's just about everything you need to know about living in Queens Lake. It's really the HOA is the most confusing part. And as long as we can figure that part out, usually we're pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep driving through the neighborhood for a few more minutes so you can see as much of this beautiful neighborhood as possible. Of course, if you've seen enough, you can always give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. I'd absolutely love to help you out, either with a home purchase here in Queens Lake, somewhere else in the Williamsburg area, or just answer any questions you might have. All right, I'm going to drive around and I will see you again at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching our tour today of Queenslake. I really hope you love this neighborhood as much as I do. Now, if you're interested in seeing what is for sale in Queenslake right now, no matter when you watch this video, go down into the description. I'll have a link there. It'll take you back to my website and show you everything that's actively on market. Also, check out the description for some additional information as well. If you're planning to move to the area, I would love to help you out. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email anytime. I've helped so many people from this YouTube channel relocate to the Williamsburg area, and I'd love to help you too. In the meantime, don't forget to like this video, share it with anyone else you know who may be making a move to the Williamsburg area, and of course, subscribe to this channel. Again, my name is David Tortellini. I'm with eXp Realty. Thank you so much for watching.